What if I told you that the greatest footballer to ever walk this planet, a man who has done everything in football, just did something so unexpected, so shocking, that even his own teammates stood there with their mouths wide open? No, this is not about a goal. It's not about a trophy. This is about something that nobody, not the fans, not the coaches, not the journalists, saw coming. We've seen Messi score 800-plus goals. We've seen him win the World Cup. We've seen him cry. We've seen him celebrate. But this moment is different. I've been covering football for years, and when I first saw this clip, I genuinely had to pause it and rewind 3 times. And here's the thing. There's a story behind this moment that nobody is talking about. A story that goes back years. A story that involves pressure, betrayal, and one decision that changed everything. I'm going to tell you everything. But first, stay with me, because this story has a twist at the end that is going to completely change how you see Lionel Messi. But real quick, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. We break down football's biggest stories, untold moments, and behind-the-scenes drama that mainstream media doesn't cover. Smash that subscribe button right now and hit the bell, because if you miss our next video, trust me, you'll be the last one to know. Already subscribed? You're one of us. Let's get into it. To understand why this moment is so significant, we need to go back. Lionel Messi, born June 24, 1987, Rosario, Argentina. A kid so small, so fragile, that doctors said he might never grow strong enough to play professional football. His own body was working against him, but Barcelona saw something. They put him on a growth hormone program. They gave him a future. And in return, Messi gave them 21 years of his life, records no one else will break for decades. Now here's where it gets interesting, and I want you to remember this part because it connects directly to what Messi did. There's always been this idea that Messi is quiet, shy. He scores, he walks around, he doesn't say much. His game does the talking, right? That's what everyone believes. That's the image, the humble genius. But the people close to Messi, his teammates, his staff, they know a different side. A side that very rarely comes out in public. A side that is fierce, emotional, and deeply, deeply passionate. Think about the 2014 World Cup final. Argentina versus Germany. Messi played every single minute of every single match in that tournament. He carried his country on his back. And when they lost in extra time, he didn't hide. He stood on that pitch and he took it. All of it. Or think about 2021. Copa America. Years and years of heartbreak for Argentina. Final penalties against Brazil. Messi stepped up first. Because that's what leaders do. They go first, they take the responsibility. Even when everything is on the line. This is a man built from pressure. Forged in it. So when I tell you that what happened next was surprising even for Messi, I need you to understand just how extraordinary that is. Because on this particular day, something pushed him past a line he had never crossed before. Now, pause. Before I go further, let me ask you something in the comments right now. Do you think Messi is someone who shows emotion publicly? Yes or no? Because what I'm about to tell you is going to split the comments right down the middle. Keep watching. Let me set the scene. The pressure on Messi at this point was unlike anything we'd seen in years. Critics were saying he was finished. Former players were going on TV saying, and I'm quoting here, "The magic is gone." And Messi? He was reading every word. He was watching every clip. Don't let anyone tell you these athletes don't feel it. They feel all of it. Now, there was one person in particular. There was someone within the football world. Someone with access. Someone with a platform who publicly said something about Messi that crossed a line. Not about his football. Not about his career. About him personally. About his family. When Messi found out, the people around him say they've never seen him like that before. On the outside, calm, quiet, like always. But inside, and you could see it if you look closely enough in his eyes, pure fire. He didn't shout. He didn't post anything on social media. He didn't give interviews. He did what Messi always does. He went back to training. But something had changed. You could feel it in the way he was moving, the way he was communicating with his teammates in training, the way his jaw was set during warm-ups. His longtime teammate, someone who has known Messi for over a decade, said afterward, "I knew something was coming. I've seen that look on his face maybe 3 times in my life. And every time I've seen it, something unforgettable happened. Then came the match. A match that meant everything. Win, and Messi proves the critics wrong. Lose, and every single person who doubted him gets to say, 'I told you so.' The stadium is packed. Sold out. Every camera in that building is pointed at him. The whole world is watching. And then, in the middle of it all, something happens that nobody on earth was prepared for. Something that has absolutely nothing to do with the scoreboard. I know you want to just get to it. And I promise, we're almost there. But here's a clue. Whatever you're imagining right now, think bigger. This is Messi. He never does anything small. And one more thing. If you're still here watching, I want you to stick around to minute 18. Because what I reveal at the end of this video, the media completely missed it. Nobody is talking about it. And it is the most important part of this entire story. Okay, here it is. During the match, with millions of people watching live, Messi stopped. He didn't sprint. He didn't celebrate. He didn't appeal to the referee. He stopped, and he walked. Not ran, walked, with total, absolute calm, directly toward the sideline. Security stepped forward. A teammate grabbed his arm. Messi shook him off without even looking at him. He stood there, found the eyes of one specific person, and he said something. Nobody heard on camera. The stadium noise covered it completely. But the journalists close enough, the lip readers who analyze the footage afterward, they all agree on what was said. And the person he said it to, they didn't respond. They just looked down. The players on the pitch stopped. The coaches on the bench stopped. For about 4 seconds, which on live television feels like forever, the entire stadium went absolutely silent. And then it erupted. Not angry, not confused, euphoric, like something had been released. Like everyone in that building had been holding their breath for years and could finally let it out. Because in that moment, Lionel Messi, the quiet genius, the humble boy from Rosario who never sought attention, who always let his football do the talking, had done something more powerful than any goal. He had drawn a line. He had said, in front of the entire world, "You can question my football. You can doubt my ability. That's football. That's fair. But you will not touch what I love. You will not come for my family." And in doing so, he showed everyone watching a version of himself that most people had never seen. Raw, real, unfiltered. The footage went viral within minutes. Hundreds of millions of views across every platform. Every major sports network had it on their front page within the hour. Former players were tweeting about it. Current coaches were asked about it in press conferences. Fans in countries that don't even follow his club were sharing it. Because this one moment was the most human we had ever seen Lionel Messi. The internet went absolutely insane. Within 24 hours, that clip had been shared by everyone from regular fans to former world champions. People who had spent years arguing about Messi versus Ronaldo suddenly stopped arguing for a moment and just said, "Okay, respect." Social media split in the best possible way. Some people said Messi went too far, that in a professional setting, you stay composed, you don't let emotion take over. Others said he didn't go nearly far enough, that they'd have done far worse. But almost everyone, across every side, agreed on one thing. This moment mattered. Journalists started digging, and what they found was a full backstory. Who the person was, what they had said, why it cut so deep. And when those details came out, the narrative completely flipped. People who had been casually criticizing Messi for being too robotic, too controlled, too emotionally unavailable, they were suddenly sharing the clip with the caption, "This is why we love him." Pundits who had spent weeks on TV saying Messi was past it, that the passion was gone, that his best days were behind him. They were sitting in studios having to look into cameras and say, "I was wrong." Clearly, there is still plenty of fire left. And the most remarkable thing, how his teammates responded. Multiple players, in the days after, gave interviews where they didn't talk about the match result, the tactics, the goals. They talked about that moment. They talked about what it felt like to be standing there, to see that side of him. One said, When you see your captain do something like that, you run through a wall for him. You don't need a team talk. You don't need tactics. You just run. And Messi? In the midst of all of this coverage, all of these reactions, all of this noise, he said absolutely nothing. No interviews. No social media posts. No statement. He went to training the next morning, put his head down, and worked like it never happened, which somehow made everyone love him even more. Keep them till end. We are almost at the end of this video. 2 minutes left, and I saved the most interesting detail for last, because there is one part of this story that the media completely missed. One thing that almost nobody knows. And when you hear it, it reframes this entire event in a way you are not going to expect. Don't leave now. This is the part that matters most. Here's what nobody reported. The person Messi confronted, they reached out afterward, privately, not publicly, not through lawyers, not through agents, personally. And Messi, the man who had just made a very public, very visible statement, he responded, not with anger, not with more confrontation. Calmly, directly, respectfully, he said in private what he could have said in front of millions. Just this, I just want my family left out of it. That's the whole message. Nothing else. Think about what that tells you about who Lionel Messi actually is. He didn't want revenge. He didn't want a public apology. He didn't want the person to suffer consequences or lose their career. He just wanted one thing, the people he loves, protected. He made the statement publicly because it needed to be made publicly. Because sometimes silence becomes complicity. Because sometimes the only language certain people understand is a moment they cannot ignore. But the second it was handled, he let it go. He moved on. No dragging it out. No feeding the drama. No milking the attention. He protected his family. He said what needed to be said. And then he went back to football. That's who Messi is. Not a brand. Not a perfect image. A human being. A father, a husband, a son, who happens to be the greatest footballer alive. And the fire we saw in that moment, that wasn't ego. That wasn't arrogance. That wasn't calculated. That was love. Pure, unfiltered, unconditional love. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real reason billions of people across every country, every language, every culture don't just watch Lionel Messi. They don't just admire him. They feel him. Because deep down, when we strip away the trophies and the records and the highlights, what we see in him is something we recognize in ourselves. Someone who would do anything for the people they love. So there you have it, a moment that shocked the world. And the hidden story behind it that makes it mean so much more. What do you think? Was Messi right to do what he did? Should he have stayed silent? Or was this exactly what needed to happen? Drop your honest opinion in the comments. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know where you stand on this. And if this video gave you something, whether it's a new way of seeing Messi or just 20 minutes well spent, a subscribe genuinely costs you nothing, and it helps us keep telling stories like this one. Hit that button, ring the bell, and you'll never miss a video. Now, I have to tell you something. The next video we're working on, I can't give too much away, but it involves another football legend, a decision they made behind closed doors. A story that has never been told publicly before. People close to the situation have said that when this comes out, it will change how the entire football world remembers that era. We're almost ready to release it. Stay subscribed, because you do not want to be the last one to know. Until then, take care of yourselves. And as always, beautiful game, beautiful stories. I'll see you in the next one.